You're watching Taste of Victory.
Hey guys, welcome back. We had a stacked weekend of Digimon BT10 tournaments to usher in the new format of cross encounters. So let's go ahead and look across multiple regions to see what topped where. First up, let's start with the North America Play TCG DC1 event. Many regions had their DC1 event this weekend, and these are usually like 300 to 500 people event. So we're going to start with North America's first. This one was hosted by Play TCG, and these Excel sheets that we use for these videos are provided by Eggman. So please, if you could, to show thanks, go ahead and subscribe to them if you already haven't heard of them on YouTube. Let's start off with first place, which was Martin Lee, who we previously interviewed on the channel a couple of days ago. They were the one that topped with Armor Rush GX, which is a Jesmon GX tech in an otherwise pretty regular armor list, which is really awesome. If you'd like to see more of that, definitely check out that video. After that, we see that the main topping things are Metal Gururumon X and Crossheart. So a lot of the expectation looking at Japan's results was that Crossheart was going to be destroying our meta over here as well, while there was also people believing that the best of three may balance it out more, and it seems like that may be the case. Also, Metal Gururumon X seems to be keeping up perfectly well with the new format because it's an incredibly fast deck that is able to OTK you in one turn, so it kind of does what Cross wants to do, except a little bit more efficient, and arguably slightly less pieces. But yeah, we see Melga and Crossheart as the big runaway success, then we have Alphamon, D-brigade taking up a lot of the spots, and Jesmon. So Jesmon is another deck that gets a lot of support in BT10, and is able to bring back its old playstyle into more relevancy in this format. We see second place was a Grandis Kuwagamon deck list, so that's really cool because like Metal Gururumon, like Alphamon, these decks kind of just play their own strategy in the raising area until they're ready to come out and OTK you. So if you're able to ignore your opponent, it's able to keep up pretty well with arguably any format that isn't blocker heavy or anything like that. So we see the list here. They do have 3 Pommelmons to stop stuff from being able to be played out through effects. So this stops your tamer effects if you're playing against Crossheart like Kari. And then you have memory blockers. You have Kuwamon, which does a lot for this deck's power. And then you have the rest of the typical Grandis package to be able to OTK. Third place was Crossheart. Fourth place was Metal Gururumon. Fifth place is Sekon, Alphamon, Crossheart. And then rounding out top 8 was Metal Gururumon. And that is 2 top 8s for Metal Gururumon, the only other deck to get multiple top 8s along with Crossheart. So they're pretty equal in power level, and a lot of people will argue that Metal Gururumon has a slight edge over it. Personally, I agree with that. I think Metal Gururumon is going to be the best deck in format. Just outside of top 8, we do have a D-brigade list, and that did get a 9th place finish, which is really great to see. This one is running 3 Death X-Mon to deal with those wide boards and heavy tamer board state that Crossheart has. And then we have a pretty much otherwise standard list, trying to rookie rush you down while their security annoys you and stops you from being able to swing for lethal. Then you got the tamers here to help you build memory and also add to your consistency. Really great list. It's awesome the D-brigade is still able to do so good as a rogue deck into the format. Let's go ahead and look at our 3rd place Crossheart list. This is looking pretty standard. You got the 2 ties, 4 Taiki, and all the other stuff. The 1 Death X-Mon to counter for the mirror in case of wide boards, and an otherwise pretty standard list since Crossheart has a lot of its archetype required by its cross effect requirements, so a lot of it's going to be 4 of all the main pieces. The Metal Gururumon list is then in 4th place. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty standard here. So yeah, this is the pretty standard list, as standard as it gets. You're just tossing in the new Omnimon X because it helps against the security control matchup to repeatedly strip something from their security, so you don't have to worry about bombs in there, and you know what's in the security. You got the 1 Sagittarius promo to be able to go into it, and then Digivolve Wergurumon X over it because it treats itself as a Wergurumon. So pretty standard list there. Congratulations to their topping, and that was 4th place Lian Shigan. After that, we have Alphamon. We could go ahead and take a look at the Alphamon list to see if there's anything crazy being updated there. We see otherwise pretty standard list. Not much has changed from BT10 onwards. It seems to be more or less what Alphamon has typically been doing. It's kind of just doing its own strategy. Looking at the rest of the top 16, we have more Alphamon, more Crossheart, 2 Jesmon. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Jesmon builds here. This was 12th place by Shane Singh. And here we have the list. It is looking pretty standard, although this one has more of a focus on the starter deck Jesmon. And this one, along with the Jesmon Extensive to Digivolve over it. We have the 4 Gumimons, it's always really nice. And the Sistermon package, of course. 2 Gaia Force, which is a card that has recently fallen a bit off because people are favoring different types of removal, or they're just fully investing into the OTK instead of removing stuff on field. But it's cool to see that there for a threat in case they need it. And then the rest of the top 16 is basically just rounded out by another D-brigade and a bunch of Metal Gururumon X, making it the most represented here in North America. North America loves their blue. So then we have Latin America's top 16 as well, and this was taking place the same weekend. Theirs, I believe, came before ours. It might have been a couple of hours before, but they had Alphamon take 1st and 2nd place, so they had the most representation for Alphamon, and it looks like 2nd representation was actually Minerva Loop, with Crossheart following shortly in 3rd. which is pretty crazy. Alphamon is absolutely a great deck. It's just such a high power level and easily able to compete with the BT10 format, but unfortunately it just won't be able to much longer with the ban list that we know is now coming November 11th. But as you see here, looking at this and the previous one, the top in North America, they're pretty similar because it's a pretty standard build to Alphamon with only so much flexibility since all the X antibody stuff needs specific cards with that trait. After that, we have Black War Greymon getting third. I'm assuming it was preying on Crossheart decks, which go super wide with their tamers. And if you get rid of their tamers, it's really unfortunate for them to have to waste more turns setting up. And if they don't even have it, it's even worse for them. But here we go, we got the 3 Black War Greymons, 3 Gaiamons, 4 Solarmon, maxing out on it to make sure they stop the opposing Crossheart plays from either Blue Flare or Crossheart. That's really great. We have more Tamer removal and Megadramon. Lots of stuff here to answer the board. You got Congo stopping lethal and Crimson Blaze outing any wide crossboards of their champions and rookies in case they left them and not saved them on their field. And otherwise, pretty standard list with the Deltamon reducing cost and all that good stuff. Alphamon takes up 3 spots of top 8, and then we finally have Blue Flare, of which got 2 in top 8, which is a deck we did not see to have representation in top 16 in North America, so it's cool to see that here in Latin America. It is running the spicy tech of the Greymon that you put underneath your Metal Greymon with its Digicross requirements, since it only needs Greymon in name specifically. So you put that underneath and you get Security Tech +1, so it's cool to see that tech. And it is running the BB Thunder low end. We have 4 Jellymon and 4 Startling Thunder. So this is something that we haven't seen much discussion about. It's usually people saying to run like the Greymon stuff as your spicy tech, but this one has the little Startling Thunder low end to be able to bounce to level 4 and a Tamer, which immediately will set Crossheart very far back. So it seems like they were preparing for that, but it also is a good answer to anything that wants to sit on Tamers or a couple of rookie blockers. So it is pretty versatile. Now with the list taking Crossheart out, I don't know how much we'll see that package seeing play going forward, but it is there as a good option. And then we have the 1 Cannon Dramon. So this is a blocker that also unsuspends itself, which basically, if Crossheart doesn't have a way to out this, like if they don't see their Sunrise Buster, there's no real way for them to go to lethal with this guy on the field because it's going to delete any of your relevant attackers. So that's a really good spicy tech there as a one-of, and otherwise pretty standard Crossheart list. Awesome. I mean Blue Flare. And then let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the other Blue Flares to see how those two compare. Here we see a much more standard Crossheart list. You have the mainly just like a basic package without any of the spice of the red Greymon. And then while it is running Jellymon, we don't see that it's running the Startling Thunder card to go along with the package. It looks like they just have it there for its inheritable, which it bounces an opponent's level 3 Digimon to get rid of stuff like Solarmon, which makes a lot of sense in this format, since you need to be able to cross. After that, we have just barely sneaking into 8th place, a Set Control and a Minerva Loop. If we go ahead and take a look at the Minerva Loop, it looks pretty standard to a lot of the Minerva Loop lists that I've been seeing floating around the internet. Here we have the 4 Minerva, 1 Creepymon to go for the alternate deck out angle, the Ice package to quickly draw out the Cerberus package, which is your main enabler, and some Dexmon to be able to fit a count, and some Deathlexmon to be able to counter opponent's boards. Really awesome. Congratulations to them, since this is the first Minerva Loop deck we are seeing get this far in a tournament this weekend, so that's awesome to see the diversity there. Let's go ahead and take a peek at Set Control and see how that is coming along. Oh, so this is interesting. We have Seraphimon back in here. We have a Creepymon. We have the Deathexmon, Ophanimon, and then the Venusmon. Venusmon is really great. It was interesting to only see it there at 1, since it's really good into this format with all the Security Tech +1, especially against something like Jesmon. And then we have Holy Wave, and otherwise pretty standard package for your removal and security. After that, we have more Alphamon, bunch of Crosshearts. It's really interesting to see here in Latin America, Crossheart did not actually make the top 8. It just barely missed out and squeaked into the top 10th, but it is there. And then we have Grandis also making top 16. So it's going to be a really good rogue deck into this format, just because it's one of those decks that's able to do its own thing. Then we got more Minerva Loop, making it 2 tops in top 16 in Latin America, which is awesome to see compared to North America. And unfortunately, I'm not able to find a compilation of the EU's DC1 topping list. All I've been able to find through searching around and asking is the 17th place list that was playing Security Control, and it seems that they lost to Jesmon, meaning that we have another representation for Jesmon in top 16 most likely. But if we take a look at their Security Control list, it does differ a bit from the other one, including the Avenge Kidmon to be able to infinitely loop along with Calling from Darkness to make sure you don't deck out. And it's a pretty spicy tech in the Emperor Greymon there. That's pretty funny. I'm assuming that's like in case Crossheart player had already Digivolved for the draw that turn, they're going to be 1 piece short now of Digicrossing, since that'll force them to pay memory when they move out of the breeding area. Really cool tech there. And that's going to be a quick overview of our meta so far going into BT10. And it looks like already very quickly we're going to be entering X3 Draconic Roar set, since the extra sets come out pretty quickly, since that's only like 2 weeks away. But with the ban list shaking things up anyways, it's going to be the Wild West to see what comes up on top now that Crossheart isn't here. It looks like even before that, it's hard to tell if it was because of the ban list announcement or just because North America didn't like Crossheart or because of the best of 3 format, but it seems that Crossheart is not the runaway monster that it was in Japan here, so that's pretty relieving for people that were not looking forward to this format at the very least. But again, it's hard to tell exactly what was the motivation. I would have thought with the ban list announcement, more people would have entered with Crossheart just to be like, well, I already got this deck, I might as well get some tournament use out of it while I can. But it seems in terms of topping list, it is not like just taking everything away, which I think probably leans towards showing how big of a difference best of 3 makes for some of these decks and why we shouldn't be panicking over Japanese results, even if it did look pretty scary some moments there in the early formats when looking at results. But again, maybe it could have just easily has been like, I don't feel like playing this anymore because of the ban list announcement. Either way, it's really interesting to see Metal Garurumon is basically shaping up to be the best deck in the format and possibly still will be going into X3. So that's the deck to watch out for and build against. And we got some really cool rogue decks running around here, taking up tops in D-brigade and Grandis Kuwagamon. So that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.